they're kind of in a wait and see mode for the federal government to just,
absolutely
allocate more for this? Okay.
Yeah, there's somebody needs to get a solid bill through Congress to support infrastructure spending, and we haven't had that a solid bill in years.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And you talked about pricing. Just in general, we're wondering about current pricing trends, to what extent these companies are achieving price increases, because what we've seen in their public reports and statements is that we're seeing some price increase, which investors like to see, but it's not really that large. However, the companies are saying in their backlog that there's more price that's they claim that in their backlog there's pricing gains that are going to be coming to fruition or being reported once those projects come through.
Yeah, and that's you almost have to look at take it at a local level to understand what's going on. It's really hard to speak on aggregates pricing overall, because what happens is about 30% of any producer's product mix is going to be base course, and that's going to be your lower priced material. And if 30% of your business is base course and 30% of it is more of a fixed plant, asphalt, concrete, stone, and all that, you get a big project on base course that maybe you dropped your price to go get. That's gonna make your overall pricing look fairly flat. So product mix can really drive your pricing down overall. But in reality, the guy that's out there running a concrete plant or asphalt plant is paying 10% more.
Oh.
So you got to be really careful when you're looking and saying, well, they're not really getting, strong pricing gains. Well, I like to look at it by market segment, by customer segment. And if they're pushing price with the fixed plants and things like that, that base course, honestly, it helps them keep their costs down by moving that. I don't want to call it a byproduct, because it's not. It's a high quality spec product, but it's easier to make. And so they're willing to sell that a little bit cheaper, and that's true in every market. That a base course is going to really keep your pricing down, depending on it. If you got a big project, so it's rare. The South Mountain project here, Vulcan actually got more than their average sale price on AB or aggregate base, because of the volume. Nobody else could keep up with it, so everybody got scared of it and stayed away from it. So that's rare, because there's not great large producers out here. There's only a few that can go get a project like that. So, but in general, product mix. Be very careful there, because product mix will make it look like they're only getting 3 or 4%. Well, sure, but they've also had a lot of base course out there. So, it's not that they're not pushing price. Now that said, at the end of the day, you roll all your financials up, and your revenue is your revenue, and your tons are your tons, and you divide that, and that's your average sales price. So, you still have to look at it that way. But as an investor, it would be very interesting to know what projects are driving their price. So you say it's in their backlog. Why? What is that in their backlog?
Okay, that's helpful. Just from what?
Well, we've got a huge asphalt job. Well, that probably rings. That's probably a big deal. Well, we got a huge. We sold 1 million tons of base that we're shipping from Mexico into Texas. I don't know. Does that really come with a lot of price or not? I don't know.
Yeah, in general, did you? Yeah, I guess maybe just. And sorry if you're having to repeat yourself, but how did you feel in general, or how do you feel today about their pricing power in like Arizona and neighboring states?
In general, pricing here is very difficult. There are some small segments with opportunities. and it's a bit of a supply and demand issue. So you look at concrete sand in the greater Phoenix area, and you know what? There's not a lot of people that can make a high quality concrete sand. Vulcan can. So, frankly, we were pushing price very, very hard up until the point where I left in July. So now that when you push price like that, you don't want to go just cut your customers off at the knees. So you try to give them a few months to get ready and explain to their customer base what's happening and why they're going to drop a price increase to their customers. So that is maybe one of the things kind of bouncing back to, you know, these companies saying that they've got it built in. That means they're pushing price and they just haven't captured it yet, probably. So back to Arizona and pricing power, you know, that is an area with fixed plant concrete. You've got some opportunities. Here's the problem on the asphalt and the AB side, the aggregate base side. So two of your three main product segments, I'll call it, are suppressed pricing. And ease of entry here, you've got, you just have some folks that are out there running portable crushers, and it's easier to make AB, it's easier to make asphalt stone. So these guys are out there, and they're smaller competitors. There's 50 of them in just in the Phoenix area. So you're out there trying to compete, and they don't push price. So it's the toughest pricing market I've ever been in is Arizona.
Oh, got it. And any read on other states, or maybe just your take on, I guess, other states out west and how good Vulcan's position is?
Oh, I think you look at California, and I think that's, and for Vulcan, it's a huge state, huge. Just looking at the assets, the dollars of assets sitting out in California, it needs to perform well. But there is so much potential out there. Of course, states like California and Florida, and when they go high, they go high. When they go low, they go low. But Caltrans seems to have a good, steady program out there. Pricing is unusually low. So that is one thing. But their position in California should put them, if in the very near future, to push that pricing. And I know the management out there very well, and that is on their list. You know, that's at the very top of their list is reserve positions, and then what comes with that is longevity and price. Ease of entry into the California market's just ridiculously hard. And Vulcan's got a very, very, very strong hold there. So and a few years ago, they got rid of with the swap, they got rid of all their concrete assets. So they are only asphalt and aggregate now. That's the money makers out there. That's where the price is going to come from. They're in really, really good position.
Why is pricing low in California in general?
You know, and I think it was probably, and I'm not that tuned into it, so take that with a grain of salt. But I think it was management that was chasing volume, and so there was a lack of discipline for a while. But I think Brock Lodge, he's the division president out there. I know him personally. He's a very structured individual. He has a plan in place, and from the guys that are underneath him, I know them very well too. He's pushing it, and they will be disciplined on price. They will go get prices up over there. But with that comes service, and like I said, positions. You got to have the material in the right spot, and they've got that. So now, I think what you're going to see follow is higher prices out of California.
Is there anything I didn't ask you about you think might be helpful as we, consider this industry and try to understand it better?
I would say that the only thing we didn't touch on, which probably doesn't fall under the business side as much as the operations side, is the safety culture. And that is, to me, huge. If I'm looking at putting a big investment in a company, if they're running a good safety program, the rest of their company's running well too. And I will say Vulcan's has been, while certainly out west we had some issues, local management driven, in my opinion. But as a company as a whole, Vulcan is fantastic when it comes to